Hot and cold behaviour comes from hot and cold thinking. Hot and cold behaviour comes from hot and cold thinking. If your SP is giving you hot and cold behaviour, it's because you're having hot and cold thoughts. And what's probably happening is something like this. Not for all of you, but for some of you. You'll be affirming, living in the end, doing all the things, and you might get like some good reflections. You might get things that like, oh my God, things are happening, things are moving, a text or something. And then the opposite happens. And when the opposite happens, you freak out, think, oh my God, I'm doing something wrong. I'm doing something wrong. You're not doing anything wrong, but in that moment when the opposite is happening, you are choosing in that moment to believe that what's happening out here is real, okay? You have to persist even more so when the opposite is happening. Because when the opposite is happening, it doesn't mean you've done something wrong. It just means a remnant of the old story is still playing out. Who cares? Doesn't matter. You persist with your story and it will change. So many people get hung up on this. And this is probably one of the most common things I get when I'm coaching with clients is they'll be doing all the things, living in the end, they start to feel really good, you know, they'll get some movement, and then the complete opposite happens. It could be something small, it could be something really big. Perspective, it's all perspective, there is no big or small. But to you, you perceive it in such a way, like somebody who has like an abandonment wound might perceive someone not texting them as them abandoning them or leaving them or choosing to go out with their friends rather than with them. If somebody doesn't have that wound, they'll just see that as, oh, they're just busy, that's cool, that's fine. You know, it's just different perspective. Anyway, when the opposite is happening, you keep going. You know you've shifted and you know your self-concept's getting better when things that happen in the 3D no longer really trigger you as much. If they trigger you, that's fine. It's good because it's showing you, oh, okay, I still feel this way about this sort of thing. That must mean I still somewhat believe that. So I need to keep working on me. For example, if you're triggered by your SP not texting you for 3 days and that's making you feel unloved, unwanted, you know that you need to persist with your I am loved, I'm wanted, I'm good enough, you know, just examples. Everybody's situation's being different, but hot and cold behavior only comes from your hot and cold thinking. So if you've been thinking for the last 8 years, I'm a piece of shit, no one loves me, people always leave me, and then for the last month you've been thinking, I'm amazing, people never leave, people love me, and you get a bit of good movement, and then the opposite happens, it doesn't matter. You've got to think you've had that old belief for so long that it's pretty normal for these things to occur, you know, it's pretty normal for the opposite to happen. You've just got to stand firm in your inner story of, hang on a minute, okay, the opposite's happening, that's from the old me, that's not who I choose to be anymore, I don't need to react to this, it does not matter because circumstances don't matter, and then you need to persist with your new story, okay? The more hot thoughts you have, the more hot your reflection is going to be, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? But my biggest tip is when the opposite is happening, you persist even more, Don't look at it and go, I've done something wrong, I fucked up, why is this happening? If it's making you feel triggered, like I said, use that to your advantage. It's just a notification ping telling you that you still have some form of belief in there because you're reacting to it. Whether you're reacting physically or internally, emotionally, they're all sort of reactions, okay? So use that to change your story, persist with your story, and just know that every day, I always remember someone saying to me, it's like hammering a nail into the wall. Every day that you affirm this new story, this new self-identity, this new self-concept of who you are now, regardless of what's going on in 3D, you are going to experience that reality. You are, again, like, there's things that at one point I thought, oh, you know, I can't ever imagine myself not reacting to this or not being jealous or not feeling unwanted. But I look now and I'm like, oh my God, I react completely different to certain things that 6-7 years ago I would have reacted so badly to. Whereas now I'm just like, whatever, doesn't care. I don't care, you know? So keep going, keep going. Hot and cold behaviour just comes from hot and cold thinking. If you keep thinking the hot thoughts, even when the behaviour is cold, so to speak, just keep going, because then that cold behaviour is going to turn into hot behaviour. Hot, cold, you know. Anyway, keep persisting. Love you all.